Hi friends, and welcome back to my neighborhood. I hope you all had a fun day yesterday, making friendship bracelets and painting rocks. Did you think about who your neighbors are and ways that maybe you could show them that you love them? I bet you came up with some really great ideas. So one of the things that I've noticed a lot of people doing lately is baking bread. Have you ever made bread before? It's pretty cool. It takes a long time though, doesn't it? But doesn't it smell amazing? I like to think about bread as a science experiment. And actually, there's a really cool video that I've posted on our website that shows a science experiment using yeast, which is what we use to make bread. Have you ever seen bread that's been made without yeast? It's really flat. It looks like paper. And actually, the wafers that we have at communion at church are made without yeast, and that's why they're flat. But if you put yeast in the bread dough and let it sit for a long time, it'll rise and bubble up out of your bowl. And then when you bake it, it's fluffy and light and so delicious. It smells so good. So the video that I posted might be one that you've seen done too. It's called elephant toothpaste. And it's made with yeast and hydrogen peroxide and a little dish soap. And it grows out and it looks like a volcano of toothpaste. So I just thought that was a really fun experiment, and you can watch that video too after this. But that really got me thinking how cool yeast is. So yeast is a teeny tiny little organism, and when it's inside something like dough, it releases air and it expands the dough and turns it into something really delicious and big. And I just think that's super cool. And even Jesus talked about yeast in the parable of the yeast. So I'm going to read that to you now. It's found in the Bible. It's in the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 13. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough." 60 pounds of flour, that's a lot. So what do you think Jesus means? Well, I think he means that the yeast is like small acts of kindness, little bitty things that we can do and sprinkle throughout our neighborhood or our city or our school. And it can make a change. It can start a little reaction, and it can change that area or that person. And God can use that act of kindness to do amazing things. And so I think that's what yeast is like. I think you could be like the yeast. So little acts of kindness sprinkled throughout the world can make a huge change. But you know what? Just like yeast and dough, it doesn't just happen like that. It takes time. So we have to be patient. We might not see the good work that our act of kindness has done, but it will happen. I was looking at some other videos and I was thinking too, how many of you have ever had a lemonade stand? And maybe you sold some cups of lemonade for 50 cents or $1, and then you decided to donate that money to a charity. You did an act of kindness, right? You might have changed the world. So if you donated your money to an animal shelter, then you could have fed one dog for that week. And that made a huge difference in that dog's life. Or maybe you donated your money to a homeless shelter, and that money provided food for one person for a couple of days. So you changed that person's life. So even though you just thought you were selling lemonade, you actually made a big difference. I've posted another video of a boy who is changing the environment by recycling cans. So if you're interested in that, you can see it on our website too. So I just really think it's awesome that when we love God and we love ourselves the way that God loves us, and then we put that compassion to other people, like our neighbors or people that are struggling or need help, then we can change the world. Isn't that cool? And I really think that that's what God means when he says the kingdom of heaven is here, right? We each get to do our part to bring the kingdom of heaven here, right now. So just remember, you're not too young. You're not too small to make a huge difference in the world just by loving your neighbor. Thanks for joining me this week at Vacation Bible School. I've missed seeing your faces, but hopefully I'll get to see you soon. Maybe tomorrow night. We're going to have a Zoom call on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Have your mom or dad send me an email to get that Zoom link, and I'll see you then. In the meantime, be a good neighbor.